In this session, we are going to discuss about the negative interaction of the microbes. Competition. It is an interaction in which both the population are adversely affected respect to survival and growth. The competition takes place between the two populations for a space or for a limiting nutrient such as carbon, nitrogen, phosphate, oxygen, iron growth factors, etc. This brings about the ecological separation of closely related population, which is known as competitive exclusion principle. Competitive exclusion principle, which means the two population occupying the same niche, one will win the competition and other will be eliminated. The population, however, they can coexist if they avoid the direct competition by using different resources at different times. So here we can see the competition between the two microbial population ultimately will result in excluding one microbial population, which is nothing but the survival of the fittest. So here we are going to discuss about the Gauss theory, that is competitive exclusion principle. The two organisms, Paramecium aurelia and Paramecium caudatum, they can grow at constant level. When they are placed together for the same food, then due to rapid growth rate, Paramecium aurelia outcompeted the Paramecium caudatum. Finally, the Paramecium aurelia survived. It is mainly due to the rapid growth rate. Another example, the Paramecium caudatum and Paramecium bursaria, they can able to survive where they are competing for the same food resource, even when they are growing together, since they are occupying different regions in the flask. Thus, they can coexist. This provides a mechanism to minimize the competition and prevents the extinction of the species. And there is a seasonal shifts in the population too. For example, psychrophilic population will exhibit high intrinsic growth rates at low temperatures, which exclude psychotrophic population. Whereas at high temperatures, the psychotrophs will exhibit high intrinsic growth rates that inhibits the growth of the psychrophilic population. Thus, there is a seasonal shift in the population depending on the temperature. Competitive displacement. The development of dominant population represents competitive displacement. Abiotic parameters such as temperature, pH, oxygen will influence the intrinsic growth rate of microbial population and the outcome of the competitive struggle. At high substrate concentrations, there is a competition between marine spirillum and E. coli, which results in the competitive exclusion of the spirillum. And only E. coli can survive at high substrate concentration. Whereas at low substrate concentration, spirillum can survive. Thus, vice versa takes place within natural aquatic population. That is the seasonal shifts where we see in the previous slide. The same way here also, depending upon the substrate concentration, either E. coli or spirillum can survive. Amensalism, it is also known as antagonism. The one microbial population will produce a substances which might be the inhibitory to the other population. This interpopulation relationship is known as amensalism. A microorganism will produce a substance that is toxic to the competing population. And they may be unaffected by the inhibitory substances, or they may gain a competitive advantage. Example, virus killing factors in the seawater, fungistatic factors in the soil. Antibiotic production does not take place normally in the soil or in the aquatic habitats, and moreover, many microbes are tolerant to the antibiotics. Zymogenous population, which grow in high concentration of organic matter, they helps in the production of antibiotics. This is for initial colonization of the substrate. And later, when they exclude the other population, the antibiotic production is not necessary. The production of alcohols, such as ethanol, or the production of lactic acid helps in inhibiting the other bacterial population. The acids produced in vaginal tract by their flora, vaginal flora, will prevent the infection by Candida albicans. Volatile fatty acids, which is produced by anaerobic heterotrophic microbial population, will exclude the growth of the E. coli in rumen. In the skin of New Zealand hedgehog, Trichophyton mentagrophytes and Staphylococcus aureus colonize. So, this Trichophyton mentagrophytes produce penicillin, which inhibits Staphylococcus aureus. But in Staphylococcus aureus, some are resistant to penicillin. They can have a coexisting or coevolutionary relationship, whereas the sensitive strains will lead to amensol relationship. Another example in which the Cephalosporium graminearium, which is a pathogen of yeast, they survive in the dead wheat tissues between the crops. And this fungi is producing an antifungal substances that exclude the other population. Parasitism. It is a population in which one organism benefits, whereas the other organism is severely affected. There are two types of parasite, ectoparasite and endoparasite. The parasite which remains outside the host are called as ectoparasite. The parasite which is present inside the host are called as endoparasite. The best example for the parasitic relationship is bacteriophage. Bacteriophage is nothing but a virus that attacks the bacteria or called as bacteriophage. First, the virus selects a susceptible host and then it attaches to them. After the attachment, it starts injecting its DNA. Then it leaves the empty code and the DNA entered inside. Now, it uses the host replication machinery for the replication of the phage DNA. And the bacterial chromosomes are digested by the phage-specific enzymes. And now the replication of phage chromosomes takes place. And later, the phage eggs get assembled. Within 20 minutes of duration, 300 particles of phage DNA are produced. Then it is released after bursting of the infected host cells. Thus, the lytic cycle continues. Here, this is an obligatory relationship because it requires live and active host for their metabolic production. In saline sediments, E. coli can protect themselves from their enemy by trapping inside the clay particle, and thus it escapes the parasitism. However, at low salinity, it will get desorbed from the clay particle where the parasitism takes place. Another example is Dello vibrio. This Dello vibrio is acting as a parasite on gram-negative bacterial population. Compared to the E. coli, which is having 10 length per second, the speed of the E. coli, whereas this bacteria, Dello vibrio, has 100 cell length per second. So here, first, it will attach to the host cell and it will attach to the outer membrane of the host cell. Then it gets penetrated into the periplasmic space. It cannot enter into the cell proper, so it is considered to be an ectoparasite. Once it enters into the cell, the interaction between the host and the parasite takes place approximately 1 hour, where it modifies the envelope of the cell of the host. So the host cell loses its original shape and becomes spherical, which is called as delloplast. But it retains the cell content, which is used up by the parasite. Where this Dello vibrio loses its flagella and become a filament and derives the nutrients from the gram-negative bacteria, that is from its host. Once the Delloplast, that is the host content, gets exhausted, then this filament starts dividing and the flagella will develop and the filament finally when the host cell content gets exhausted, the filament divides into an individual cells and later the flagella gets developed. Finally, the delloplast lies releasing its progeny. Some ectoparasitic microorganisms can cause lysis without direct contact. For example, myxobacteria. The lysis of bacterial strains in such as gram-positive and gram-negative can be done with the help of exoenzymes even at some distance. Cytophaga populations, they produce an enzyme which lyse susceptible algae. Some bacterial population produce an enzyme chitinase which lyse chitin containing fungal cell walls. Thank you.